Hey everybody, we're going to talk about the exemplar report that you're going to use for your IEP. So let's start by saying that the exemplar that you're going to be using is actually a multifactored evaluation that has great data, because we have to have great data to write an excellent IEP. And we've got a student here, Brad, because we know that IEPs are always based on students. Brad says hi. So our task is to develop an IEP for Brad, and we want that IEP to be based on data. We also want that IEP, whoops, too fast. We want to make sure that when we're writing that IEP, what we're doing first is using our data, using positive language, and again, using data. We can't overstate it. Every IEP needs to have numbers, percentages, raw data. It can be descriptive data, but it has to be data. It has to be very firm and clear, because we have to know what foundation we're starting with to know where we're moving towards. It can't just be Brad does a good job in reading, because to me, a good job in reading is grade level. To someone else, a good job in reading might be above grade level or below grade level. So good doesn't qualify. To say Brad reads 180 words a minute, that's a very specific piece of data that I can use to build from. So when you are looking at a multifactored evaluation, know that you have to include the team. So in this case, our team includes Brad's mom, the parent, Brad's special education teacher, since Brad spends a good part of his day in a self-contained resource classroom, and also the psychologist who helped to prepare a report. Know that for any 3-year reevaluations, those multifactored evaluations, they have to be prepared by a licensed practitioner. So in many school districts, that's a school psychologist. And Brad's teacher reminds us, thank you, Mr. Clooney. If you have questions, please check in discussion board, and I'll be happy to answer anything that you have. You're going to be using an exemplar integrated assessment report for reevaluation. Note that this report is completely confidential, and that this report has been anonymized and compiled from a series of multifactored evaluations. So this isn't a representation of any one student, but rather a compilation student. So our student that we're looking at is Brad, and you'll be learning all about Brad based on what his school psychologist, Oprah, his teacher, Jim, his psychologist, Benedict, and his occupational therapist, Julia, have to say. We'll also be hearing from his mom, Janet Jones, and all of the information has been compiled into this report. So the report has been uploaded for you to review, and you're going to take the background information and all of the testing results, as well as his current IEP. You'll see his current short IEP objectives, along with some basic data that has been obtained. So this gives you a foundational point to start very specifically with what Brad's current skills are. And you'll also see his current medical diagnoses, reports from the speech pathologist and the occupational therapist, everything that you'll need to develop Brad's IEP. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer. I hope you enjoy reading through this report and working on developing your first IEP. Please be sure to use all of the IEP resources that have been shared with you, including the Kentucky Department of Education's IEP guidance document and the IEP handbook, and the other resources that I created and shared with you in the module. Happy learning!